The Oracle Network.
Do it. So energized, guys.
Jesus Christ.
I mean, I'm obviously off my game too, so don't feel alone.
Okay.
Let's get through this.
I accidentally hit record, so
Oh, shit.
I recorded all this.
We're cool. We're cool.
Dumb. I guess we just do this live now.
Hi, friends.
Hi. Welcome. I'm Abby.
And I'm Shawna.
And what is this? It's Anxious.
And Afraid. Oh my god, switching it up.
The tired edition. I don't know why. We're all so sleepy.
Well, we're recording on a Sunday morning.
Oh, yeah. It's different.
So it's not our typical vibe, but here we are.
And it's earlier than we usually record too.
It's like daylight, so that's different.
But welcome. We're a podcast. We talk about things that are going to make you feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, and we try to be funny about it, and we get through all the terrible stuff.
Yep. And sometimes we curse about it.
We're definitely morning people.
We're so beyond not morning people. Okay.
What are you going to do? So, yeah. Shawna,
Meows.
did anything make you anxious or afraid this week?
Well, you actually pointed it out, and then I realized how anxious and afraid I was.
Oh.
Because I did a Instagram post, and I didn't at all realize, even though I read it multiple times, double check it, and I was thanking Matt for his jiggle instead of his jingle.
Yep. Oh, I forgot to tell you about that,
At least
Michael.
I think Michael didn't know.
No.
That's so funny.
Shauna on the post, she said thanks to Matt for the new jiggle instead of new jingle.
Wow.
So she thanked Matt for his new jiggle. So thanks for the new jiggle, Matt.
Hey, at least it was only up there. I think you caught it like 10, 15 minutes in, so
I had to really stare at it for a second. It's like, am I reading that right?
I think that's where I was at too. I was like, that looks wrong, but I can't figure out why. Like, I'm just staring at it.
Send.
It's fine.
Post it.
So my apologies there. That's embarrassing.
He also mentioned that on his episode, I forget which social media post we made, but he said, y'all picked the worst picture of him. So I just figured.
Nobody likes their...
I'd let all the listeners know. Go check that out on all of our social medias. It's the, in Matt's opinion, the worst picture of him we could have used. So I'm sure everyone will find that very entertaining.
He's a self-conscious guy. No. It's great.
Everyone says that about every photo they're tagged in.
I hate every photo I'm in.
It's fine. Sorry if you were self-conscious about it.
Not sorry.
Michael's not. He's proud of it.
Oh, man. What about you, Abby, though? Let's talk about you.
Let's talk about me. I actually did have a kind of shitty news this week where I went to the doctor for my wrists because my wrists have always been really fucked up. And they hurt all the time. And I figure if I don't fix them or get them looked at now, like when I'm old, I won't be able to function. So I went to the doctor and I was diagnosed with the same weird birth defect, deformity. I don't know if that's like PC to say. Is that?
I don't know.
I don't know. Congenital birth defect, basically. And on our wrists. And it's called Madelung's deformity.
Madeline's?
Madelung.
Oh, Madelung's. Weird.
Yeah. And my bones didn't grow right. And I might have to get surgery to fix it, which sucks.
It's when they like kind of keep growing, right?
I'm done growing for the most part.
But it grew extra long than it should.
One bone in my wrist stopped growing. And then other ones, I think, continued to grow. And so, like, there's bones, just grinding up on each other.
Fun. Awful. I'm so sorry, girl.
Oh, it's okay. I mean, my mom and all of my sisters also had it, and they've all had surgery. So
yeah, at least you're like familiar with it and know people. And
yeah, it wasn't like it was,
shocking.
and it was kind of a funny story of how I knew I had it because I told you this story already, but I had gotten my X-rays done, and I was like waiting for them to come back to tell me about the X-rays, and I'm just sitting alone in the waiting room, and I hear my doctor outside of my room talking to a group of people, and she's like, and here's the x-rays for Miss Abby or Abigail. And she's like, you can see here with the Madeline's deformity. And she starts talking about it.
Really
and they're
loud.
like, why does it stop growing? She's like, we don't know. And I was just sitting in there like, well, fuck. Guess I know what's wrong with me.
Yeah,
But it's kind of good to know.
for sure.
So that's a bummer. But at least there's like a light at the end of the tunnel. I can get it fixed.
Yeah, you know where to, start fixing it. So.
And Shawna already said she would do all of my chores and walk Roscoe and give me sponge baths. And
Oh, I don't know if I said sponge
I
bath.
think you did. I think that she highlighted that.
Said
part.
I'd get you snacks, but
She said sponge bath.
all right. I'm okay with that.
She's gonna be my nurse, so it's fine.
The new RN.
She's gonna move in. Be my caretaker. So, what do you got for us today? Do we have any corrections? I don't think we do.
I don't think we do.
No. Okay.
No one tells us. I'm sure we do, but whatever.
Yeah, I'm sure we fucked up.
I'm sure there's a mistake everywhere. All right. So I wanted to get back to some weird because we've been in the dark side of things for a while.
You don't say.
No way.
Somebody told us our last episode made them cry. So
Oh, and we're so sorry. We
so
don't,
sorry.
need to do that.
Thanks, Saul.
Yeah.
There's the last one.
We're just gonna keep shaming him till the end of time.
I mean, it was his idea. So my favorite type of weird is
Aliens.
Yeah.
Yay!
Aliens. So I'm doing
Yay!
Yay!
We haven't done an alien in a while.
Science fiction, not science fiction. Well, what you decide. But yeah, alien stuff, fun. I'm doing another abduction story,
Hell yeah!
and this one has kind of like resurfaced in the recent years. So I have been hearing it a lot everywhere, and a lot of podcasts starting to cover it, and so I wanted to be one of them.
I'm cool too.
I want to be on top of this too. So, I don't know if you've heard of it, but we are doing the Pascagoula UFO abduction of Calvin Parker and Charles Hickson.
I mean, I don't recognize the names.
Right.
I might recognize some of the details. I don't know as many of these as you do.
Right. Well, this one's a good one.
I'm excited.
It's going to be fun. Yeah. All right, are you ready?
Yes.
Let's get out of this world.
Okay. Woo-wee.
Okay. So I'm bringing us back to 1973, where all the fun things happened.
You know,
The 70s.
it's just all the murder and so much stuff happened in the 70s.
All the drugs, all the murder, all the alien abductions.
All the shag carpet. All the wood paneling.
The wood paneling. And we are in Jackson County, Mississippi.
All right.
And 19-year-old Calvin,
19. Okay.
baby Calvin, is from an even smaller town in Mississippi. But he wanted to start working at a good job to start saving money for a house and start a family.
Okay.
42-year-old Charlie, big age difference there. He was an old friend of Calvin's. And Charlie...
Old friend.
I know, right?
Huh.
And he invited him to start helping out with his job, and which was at the shipyard. So he's kind of like, hey, do this job with me and see if you get hired here.
Okay.
And so Calvin takes up that offer and moves himself to Pascagoula, Mississippi.
Okay.
It's just fun to say, Pascagoula.
Pascagoula, and also when you said Mississippi, I couldn't help but be like, M-I-S-S-I. Like, you know, that,
The song.
like, it was just so fun to spell.
Oh, for sure, for sure. Okay, so on October 11th, 1973.
Okay.
It was the first day on the job for Calvin, and it was a very exhausting and laborious job.
Sounds like it.
Okay. I want to say laborious, but Google told me it's laborious. Which sounds wrong.
I mean, I think you can do both.
Really? Oh.
I wouldn't have made fun of you.
Anyways, it was a hard job.
It was a hard job.
It was like a job that makes you sweaty and dirty.
Ew.
Okay, so Charlie suggested that him and Calvin go out fishing after work in order to wind down from the day. And Calvin liked that idea.
All right.
Thanks, Linda.
All right.
All right. So after working their shifts, Charlie took Calvin to a little fishing spot that he would always go to for some peace and quiet. Once the car was parked, they grabbed their gear and started a 15-minute walk towards an abandoned boat dock.
Okay.
Calvin was kind of worried because it was also like full of debris, and he also saw a no trespassing sign.
Oh.
But Charlie was like, nah, everything's gonna be fine. I've been here before.
Okay.
So once they found the dock, they sat down and started fishing. And it's now dark outside. They didn't have a watch, so they didn't really know the time, but it's like evening, maybe 5, 6-ish, 7-ish.
Okay.
But it's dark outside.
Okay.
And after a few minutes of chatting, all of a sudden, there was a bright blue light reflecting onto the water. Calvin was like, I fucking knew it. We're busted by the cops.
The fuzz.
But he said it in a more cute Southern accent. But no, it was not the cops.
Uh-oh.
They both turn around to a blinding blue light surrounding not a cop car, but a huge-ass, unidentifiable spacecraft.
Oh, boy.
Here we go. All right, it's right behind him.
It snuck up on him.
Really? Yeah, and it's quiet, so sneaky. So now in this story, you might notice some similarities to my other past UFO abduction stories. But this story is also not like any other I've heard before when it comes to describing what everything looks like.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Different aesthetics.
It is. So this craft was not at all your typical flying saucer craft. This was the shape of a football.
Ooh.
With only 2 windows on one end of it, kind of making it look like, to me, a flatfish.
Oh, oh yeah, with like the funny little eyeballs.
Yeah, like on one side of the fish, and it's like a football shape, like, or an eye shape or almond shape or whatever. So
okay, weird.
It looks like a metal flatfish craft. Very odd. I mean, there is different kinds of craft that I guess we've seen now, like the tic-tac and the top stuff. So I guess there's a lot of crazy shapes, but I haven't heard of a flatfish kind of looking
football size.
Football, yeah, that's different.
Shape, I mean, not size.
Yeah, not size. Big, much bigger. In fact, the craft was about 40 feet or 12 meters across, hovering about 8 to 10 feet or 3 meters off the ground, only making some sort of whizzing sound, or what I imagine like wow, wow, wow.
That's not that. That's pretty low. That was a good sound. That's really low to the ground, though. That's really close to them.
Oh yeah, like
ooh, creepy.
Imagine seeing something that big, that close.
By whizzing, you don't think they mean like this sound of pee, like some like the ship sound like it's peeing.
Well, how do you describe that sound?
Whizzing,
Taking a whiz, Khalifa.
Okay. Anyways. Then a bright white square light appeared in the middle of the craft, as if it was some door opening.
Oh, okay.
Both men claim to then witness 3 figures floating or gliding towards them.
Oh, boy.
And here is the bonkers descriptions of these motherfucking aliens.
Oh, God, I love this.
It is not your typical gray aliens at all.
Is it giant boobed women? Because...
Is that what men want aliens to be, you pervs?
Half the time, that's what it is. And I'm like, come on now. They're always big-titted women. Like, why is this a thing?
I mean, I guess I've heard that there is, like, documented different species of alien. I haven't gone into it. Maybe I should one of these alien episodes. I think there's, like, 5 species, technically, because there's, like, the white man, blonde alien, the gray alien.
Reptiles.
The reptile aliens. There's like a praying mantis alien.
Ooh.
And that's like the creepiest.
Ew.
Yeah,
I think it's the white, like the white ones are the ladies with the big
like
boobs.
Nordic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's weird.
They're like, we're the superior race. I'm like, of course you are, because you're white and blonde. Jesus Christ.
Blue eye and everything.
Yeah, right? I'm like, okay, well, I guess the Nazis would have liked these aliens.
Good points. Okay, that's fun. All right.
That's fun.
These aliens are none of those.
Oh, I'm excited. New.
Yes. Okay, so they were about 5 feet tall, so still smaller than the average human.
Mm-hmm.
Their heads were lying right onto their shoulders. So these things had no neck, but nubbin heads.
Ew, God, I don't like that word.
I know, that's why I used it.
I saw Michael recoil as well. I don't think he likes it either.
Nubbins.
No.
I love that word.
I hate that word. Ew.
Okay, so it only had a little head.
Oh, thank you.
Nubbin.
They had a thumb on their shoulders. Okay.
Okay, so there's that. They had long arms, but instead of hands, these figures had crab-like claws for hands.
Okay.
So they had like the thumb and the fingers together, and they're like the snappy claws.
Yeah.
Pretty gross.
Rude,
what?
Shawna. Don't body shame these aliens.
Oh. My bad.
What if they come here and they hear you talking
They're
shit about
listening.
their claw hands?
I mean, I'm sure they've gotten worse, right?
That's probably true.
Anyways, at least I believe in them.
That's true.
I'm open-minded. Okay, so they had what kind of also looked like a leg, but it was like two legs fused together. So I picture kind of like the Oscar award. You know how that looks? Mm-hmm. Its legs were like that, so it was one-legged.
Okay.
And it's like floating stiffly like that. So it's just floating as a stiff figure.
I'm imagining.
What are you imagining?
I'm imagining the legs together, but like these tiny little twinkle toes, just like diddly, 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 and it just like floats along like with all these little tiny toes.
That's a cuter idea. I don't know if they had toes, maybe hooves or something, but
Hooves.
or maybe it was just, I don't know.
Hooves and claws. This is a weird. Okay,
Yeah, I
so
don't think they got the feet very well, but they just knew that there was like one solid leg.
okay, so they're not walking around.
They're not walking, they're floating.
float.
And their quote unquote skin was a dark gray, but with tons of wrinkles or folds.
Ew.
Kind of like the skin of an elephant. But it also looks like it's hard, like a hard metal suit, because the aliens are also very robotic.
What the hell?
There's just too much going on.
What?
Yes.
Hard.
So it looked like they were metal, but the metal wasn't smooth. It was very wrinkly. I should have my phone and show you.
I'm going to say, I'll have to just look up a picture. I'm a very visual person. I'm like, I cannot picture what this looks like.
Oh, for sure. I'll show you the pictures when we take a break, and of course I'll post them, but very weird.
Okay.
But like picture more robot-y
Okay.
and metal-y.
Okay, weird.
Like a figure. I don't know. It's so difficult because it's so odd. Okay. So they had it gets weirder. They had cone-shaped spikes where we would say the ears should be, and also a cone spike for the front where the nose would be. And they had absolutely no eyes and only a slit for a mouth.
Ew.
Why do they always have a slit for a mouth?
I don't.
It's always like a little slit.
I know.
But also it never moves. But these don't
I
have
don't even know
eyes.
what to say. I'm like, I can't. This is so much information. It's so weird.
And it's so odd. And when you think of aliens, like the eyes are what's so like hypnotic and scary.
Yeah, they always have like big eyes.
Yeah, these had no eyes. That's so weird.
No eyes is creepy to me.
That's even creepier.
Ugh.
What seems unlikely to me is that multiple different types of aliens would have like eyes in a place where you'd expect eyes to
Right.
be, and a nose where you'd expect a nose, and ears, and like
I'm obviously more uncomfortable because it's more unfamiliar, but yeah, that's true. If you wouldn't expect them all to evolve to look humanoid necessarily.
see some eyes on a butt.
I mean, maybe his eyes were like on the ends of those cones. Or
in the claws, like that one's terrible movie.
that's what I was thinking of, Pan's Labyrinth. I was thinking like the guy that holds
Haunts
his
me.
hands up to his...
Yeah,
It forever haunts me.
let's get weird.
Oh.
Ears in your armpits,
No.
mouth on your back.
They're not mutants. They're aliens. Difference.
No. I disagree.
I disagree.
Life finds a way.
Okay, gold, blue.
There you go.
I almost said Berg.
Okay, I'm going to continue now if you don't mind.
I don't mind at all.
Okay, so though the three figures floated down towards them, they also moved very stiff and robotically, like I said. The closest thing I can imagine is like a military style march. You know how they're very stiff when they move around?
Yeah.
That's how these aliens were moving. There was no, which is odd because it's like,
it's not like
how
organic movement.
Right. But they're like smooth gliding, but they're also very robotic and mechanical, which is like, you think that's two opposite kind of movements, but they're doing both.
Okay.
Very interesting.
It's very weird.
So these two humanoid-elephant-crab-robot aliens.
Good classification.
I mean, I had to get it all in there.
Yeah.
They grabbed a hold of Charlie, and the other one grabbed a hold of Calvin. Both men heard some sort of hissing sound when the claws took a hold of their arms, as if both were injected with something.
Uh-oh.
Both men felt instantly calm and relaxed, but also paralyzed with only some head and eye movement.
Ew, I don't like... I mean, I'll take one of those before bed, but other than that, I wouldn't want that.
Yeah, it's very creepy in how, like, instant it is. Yeah, so they only had some eye movement so they can still look and observe everything.
That's horrible. No, just knock me out. I don't want to know.
Right? And then they all glided on up to the metal flatfish craft.
Okay, here we go.
This is such a fun one to me.
Going away.
Yep, gliding on up. The light inside the craft was so bright they couldn't hardly see a thing. It was as if the walls were brightly illuminated all around. They saw no light fixtures though.
Okay.
Both men were taken into separate rooms, very similar to Betty and Barney Hill, if you remember that story. Charlie got lucky and had himself a less proby experience.
Oh, good.
So Charlie, he felt as if he always remained levitated throughout the entire incident. He never felt like he was put on any table or anything, just still floating there in a bright white light. Then he noticed a small device come out of the ceiling. And he refers to this as the eye. I guess it's in the shape of an eye. It hovered about a foot away from his face with no wires. It paused for a moment and then proceeded to scan the rest of his body.
Okay.
He felt no pain during this, though, and didn't feel like the robot aliens wanted to hurt him.
Good.
Good for him.
Yeah.
Calvin, poor baby Calvin, on the other hand.
Oh, no, Calvin.
Had a more traumatizing experience.
No, it's just like that SNL skit.
What else?
With Kate McKinnon, where she is like, there's always like, they're abducted, and she always gets
With
the
Ryan Gosling.
terrible abductee
That's
experience.
such a good skit because he can't stop laughing. Oh, that's a good classic.
So that kind of an experience. So I'm guessing he's going to get probed.
Maybe.
Oh, poor boy.
Let's take a break at this point before we go into it.
Oh, okay.
All right. Now Calvin.
Oh, Calvin.
He was placed onto some glass-like translucent table. Same as Charlie, Calvin saw a device with no wires about the size of a deck of cards coming out of the ceiling. This too hovered over his face and seemed to scan around his head, making some clicking noises, then shot back into the ceiling.
Okay.
So some sort of like scanner. Calvin then turns his head slightly and is able to see a whole different kind of alien figure.
Okay. And
this one is, I guess, the more typical alien that we can think of. It's more humanoid than robotic. And this one does appear, he assumes, to be female. It has more feminine features, but who knows?
Right.
So this one did have eyes and ears and a nose, but still only just a slit for a mouth that never moved.
Okay.
Which, again, why do they have a slit for a mouth if they don't need it? Do they eat? I don't understand.
So many questions. So many questions
about aliens.
I mean, maybe it's not a mouth. Maybe they just perceive it as a mouth because that's where our mouths are.
There we go.
True that. Love your process.
I like that kind of thinking.
Yeah. Okay, so this female alien also had hands instead of claws. But what was different was that her two middle Phalanges. How do you feel about
Phalanges. Makes me think of Friends immediately.
I know, because that's the last name like Phoebe uses for like a persona or something.
Something like that. I just remember she says phalanges a lot, and I was like, what does phalanges mean?
I know, me too, but it means like the finger bones.
Yeah.
I love that word.
Her driving fingers.
Her driving fingers?
The middle one.
Oh.
The bird. She has a big bird.
Okay.
Okay, so yeah, she has 2 long ass middle fingers.
Okay.
And I'm sorry, and they were much longer than the other because that's how it works. She started to pinch his cheeks, probably thinking like, what are these ridiculously large mutton chops?
Oh, I was like, which cheeks?
Yeah, we're still on Calvin.
His face cheeks or his
booty cheeks? No, his face cheeks.
Okay, she's pinching his little face cheeks. Mm-hmm. And he's looking at his crazy mutton chops.
He has some crazy mutton chops. You'll see him posted. She moved his head around and then forced his jaw to open.
No thanks.
Mm-hmm. And this alien bitch,
oh no,
then starts to put her long ass phalanges down his throat, even going past his uvula.
Ew.
Then she starts to pry her fingers up his nasal cavity.
Don't like that.
Oh man. And poor mutton chops Calvin started to freak out, choking and struggling in pain. Like, hello, a finger up? No. Ugh. So it's that type of probing.
Oh god.
He even started bleeding, apparently. That's what he claims. Then she removed her hand from his throat and then telepathically told him in English, "Don't be afraid. We're not going to hurt you."
You already did.
That's exactly what I thought. I was like, but you just did. Do you not understand?
She said, wiping the blood off her fingers.
Yeah, very weird. Calvin, still freaking out, obviously, feels another injection in his arm.
Oh, God.
From one of the robotic claw aliens.
Maybe those are just like their helpers they made.
Yeah. Kind of seems like they're like the servant-y.
Like robot servants.
Yeah. Get the dudes. Yeah, I don't know. Okay, so he instantly calms down again and relaxes. The next thing they know, both men were gently dropped back off at the very same abandoned dock.
Hey, that's nice. Sometimes they drop them off random spots.
I know. It's the exact same spot. Charlie ended up falling to his knees when placed back on Earth. He noticed that Calvin was standing facing the water with his arms reaching out in front of him as if he was still in a trance. Ooh. Charlie yelled out to him, "Calvin, you all right, son?" And that seemed to get like Calvin out of it and back to reality. Mm-hmm. The Humanoid-Elephant-Crab-Robot aliens then robotically turned around and retreated back into the spacecraft, and they claim to still witness them going back.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So they actually saw them leave.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Like they're floating back up, and then the door closes. The bright blue lit spaceship rose straight up into the air and then disappeared in a flash.
Later days, bitches. Bye. See ya.
So Charlie had to calm Calvin down. He's still freaking out. I would be too. Especially since he had a way more horrific experience.
Oh my God. Yeah, like how do you even deal with something like that afterwards?
I know, and then just like, then you can't deal with it because people think you're crazy or you don't even know what happened.
It's
or
just
like
the weirdest story.
It's the weirdest. Okay, so Charlie was assuring him that the aliens were gone and that the dangerous part is all over, that they were there. You can calm down. Mm-hmm. They sat on the dock for a few moments. And Calvin immediately said that I think he was trying to convince them that he didn't remember anything, that nothing happened to him, that he passed out. He really didn't want to talk about it at all, and he just wanted to forget about it.
This was Calvin wanted to forget about it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, Calvin didn't want to talk about it, and then at the dock, they ended up agreeing that they would not go ahead and tell anybody. That was the agreement.
Yikes.
Because everyone's going to think you're nuts.
Yeah, God. Oh,
it's the early 70s. Yeah.
Oh.
Right? The times. And in Mississippi.
Yeah.
Are you kidding?
Not going to go over well.
Very bad. Interestingly, the side of the car that was facing towards the craft had the window shattered but not broken. So they weren't like, you know what I mean by shattered, not broken?
Yeah, because it's the tempered glass.
Yeah. Safety or whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, it's like safety stuff. This car was also a brand spanking new car. It was a 1973 model. So that year.
Oh, dang.
And this car all of a sudden couldn't start.
Dang it.
Mm-hmm. But after a little bit of messing around with it, they got it running and they started to head home.
I was going to say, that's a weird insurance claim. He'd be like, alien fuckery.
Right? All right. During the drive home, Charlie, the older guy, came to the conclusion that he just cannot keep this bottled up. This is too much of a mindfuck.
Yeah.
So he stopped the car and he at a payphone and attempted to call the nearest Air Force base to tell him what had just happened to them.
Okay.
But when he got through, they said to him that they don't study that kind of stuff anymore and suggested that they go to the sheriff's office.
Oh, because they do.
Right.
Can I get the UFO department, please? Thank you.
Yeah, very weird. So I'm guessing without Calvin's consent, because he was like not down to talk about this, but Charlie drove them to the sheriff's office.
Okay.
Sheriff Glenn Ryder was the lucky one that got to hear their stories first. But of course, he wasn't impressed or having it. They then separated the two, adding Sheriff Diamond to help with the questioning. Since the two men weren't breaking away from their fantastical... That's not a word, is it?
Yeah, it is.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Fantastical story. They put the distraught men back together in a room, and the sheriffs told them that they were going to step outside for a minute.
Okay.
The sheriffs were trying everything they could to have them confess to their hoax. And unknown to both Calvin and Charlie, the sheriff had taped up a cassette recorder, because it's the 70s, underneath the table that they were sitting at.
Okay, so they're listening.
Listening to their conversation, thinking that they're going to, they're out of the room, so they're going to be like, okay, our plan is working.
Yeah, they're going to catch them in a lie.
Yeah, we want to be famous, whatever. So I actually have the tiniest clip of that actual audio. It's towards the end, and this is at the point where the sheriffs have left the room, and then they're talking about their actual experience. Like, they're not giving up the story, which makes it very compelling evidence. It is hard to hear, so try and listen very closely. Okay.
You take it over a lifetime, you see. Jesus Christ. Not so damn bad about his blues. That's what I thought. I had been through enough of hell on this earth, and now I have to go through something like that, see. But they could have, I guess they could have harmed us, so they could have done anything to us if they didn't hurt me. Maybe why they just picked us? I don't know. I'm telling you, man, I couldn't take much more of that. I know you hungry to bear get some nerve pills or something, see the doctor or something. I can't stand it. I'm after all the paces. I'll take you by when they get through us, we'll go by the phone. I'll get you something, settle you down with so you get some damn sleep. I can sleep now like it is that. I'm just being you're crazy. But Cal, when he brought you out of that damn thing, and when he brought me out, well, I like to know where the hell damn, I like to know where the hell got you straightened out, man. I didn't know it. I remember my heart. They just froze out just like that. I couldn't move, just like I slept on a damn rattlesnake. They didn't do me that way, though. I passed out. I passed out. That's the first time I ever passed out in my life. You shut the new medical records. And I've never seen nothing like that before in my life. You can't make people believe that, though.
Sorry, that was long, but
it was hard to hear a lot of it, but I did catch parts of it. I think the accent makes it harder too.
The accent definitely makes it harder. But there are moments where, like, it's Charlie saying, like, Lord have mercy. Why do I have to see this after all the things I've seen on Earth? Calvin is pretty much saying that he needs to take a nervous pill or see a doctor or something because he's falling to pieces and he feels damn near crazy, is what he says in one of those things.
I heard him say, I never passed out so fast in my life.
In my life.
In my life.
In my life. Yeah, and at the very end, he says, no one's going to believe us. So, and I think Calvin also is describing how he got paralyzed as if he stepped on a rattlesnake.
Yeah, I heard that part too.
Yeah, so he is revealing some details that he does remember what happened. So that is really interesting. That's like kind of the reason why I wanted to do this.
That fact
case
is really compelling.
They did not let up that story. And so, yeah, it makes it like, okay, damn, they're really terrified.
Yeah, and they're talking about it like people would after something terrible happened. Like you're just trying to reassure each other that happened.
Yeah, they're like trying to debate like, why didn't they just take us? And he's like, I don't know, like, but we're back now. It's so which weird. Is yeah. How do you fathom like why were we chosen? Why would we be sent back? Why wouldn't they just take us? Like, so many questions. Like,
I have no idea what I would do if I ever got abducted. I have seriously no idea.
Oh my God, your mind would.
It's a lose-lose.
Fucked forever. Yeah.
You say something, you're crazy. If you don't, you go crazy anyway.
Exactly. Lose for sure. Okay, so let's continue a wee bit. So after that night from the sheriff's office, when Calvin got home, he actually became pretty worried about radiation and infection. Oh. He remembered from the Apollo missions that the astronauts had to be quarantined once they were back on Earth for about a week in case they had any virus or infection. Interestingly enough, too, his father also worked for the U.S. Atomic Energy Commission. So Calvin did understand the dangers of radiation to the human body.
Oh, wow.
He's not like, the most educated little guy.
But his dad is, apparently.
Yeah, and he knows about that. And poor sweet baby Calvin was so freaked out this night. How can you not be? Mm-hmm. Especially if they, like, invade your face that way. Ugh. Anyways, concerned that he was concerned that he was infected after this. So he took, like, a gallon of bleach and put it in the tub mixed with water and drenched himself in it.
No!
He took a bleach bath.
Did he get chemical burns?
I don't know, but I immediately think like, oh no, your hair is gonna
oh my God, your hair.
Color.
I'm like, your skin would melt off.
Right. Like imagine if you had any cuts or anything, like
that can kill you. I don't understand
it's not smart. Do not take bleach baths, everybody. Don't do that. That don't help.
Oh my God. If you like ingest any of it, like
no, I hope he rinsed it off after that at least, but
oh God, that makes me so uncomfortable. The smell. Yeah. It would just smell like bleach forever.
Right. But it shows how like he was willing to do anything because he was so freaked out.
Obviously very concerned.
Yes.
That is extreme.
Pretty extreme. It's also worth noting that both of them did take multiple polygraph tests and passed. Both sheriffs, I can't speak, both sheriffs and some other detectives have openly said in like news interviews very publicly that they do believe that the men were genuine and truly terrified.
Dang.
So when you get like authorities saying that, it's just like, damn, like that's more trustworthy opinion.
It solidifies a little bit more.
Yes. As the days went on, young Calvin was still actually kind of ticked at Charlie. Because remember, Calvin didn't want to say anything.
Yeah.
And that's what they agreed to.
And now it's out.
And then he was just like, I'm sorry, we're going to the sheriff's office.
He immediately breaks their agreement.
Yeah. So Calvin kept quiet and talked to no one publicly about his experiences. Yet Charlie was all about it. He said that this was like the only way he found he could cope with what happened to him is to talk about it, which is also kind of a valid argument. I mean, what else can you do?
Yeah, I feel like you hear that, like, you either have to talk about it or, like, people just bottle it up.
Yeah. And he was like, you know what? I can take the criticism. I don't care. I'm just going to talk about it.
Do you think it's the age disparity, too? Because, like...
Definitely think so.
He's older and he's about... How old is he again?
42 at the time.
I guess not super old, but, like, maybe
compared
he doesn't...
to 19.
Yeah, doesn't care as much what people think about him anymore, whereas at 19, you're, like, more less self-confident and...
Yeah. I mean, he's, like, the older, like, almost, like, father, uncle figure to handle the situation, like calming him down and stuff. And I did watch another interview that Charlie took after the event happened, and he did say, like, the interviewer was like, do you think that they chose you because you were able to handle it? And he's like, well, maybe, like, I feel like maybe that's why I'm coming out to talk about it, because I can handle it. So,
well, yeah, but Calvin can't, apparently.
Yeah, so I wonder, I don't know what their relationship was really like after that. But I bet it was very interesting and mixed, because, you know, he's just trying to grow up and live his life and start a family.
Yeah, especially if this is what you become known for. I wouldn't imagine he'd have good feelings about it if they agreed that they wouldn't talk about it.
Yeah. Okay, so, yeah, Charlie was very comfortable taking interviews, speaking at conventions. He also came out with a book, all while Calvin tried to live his normal Earth life.
Oh.
Charlie did live to be 80 years old, and he ended up passing away back in 2011.
Okay.
After a stroke and some other issues. Calvin, I believe now in his 60s, thought it was time for his side of the story to be heard.
Oh,
so
dang.
it took him 45 years to come out publicly with his side of the story.
Okay, I'm ready.
That was in 2018.
Really?
Yeah, that's why I think this is like kind of circling the internet again.
Oh, dang.
Because it's like, yeah, he's just like came out with a book recently with his side of the story.
Oh, man, you just got to wait, because like eventually people get old and they're like,
Well,
what I got left to live? Let's just talk about it.
Like, this is my life story. If I'm going to die, I'm going to tell it.
Yeah.
Totally.
Get it out there.
Exactly. And I'm glad he did. Oh, yeah, like I said, he wrote his own book. I think that came out in 2019, not sure. And he has been taking some news interviews. He's also on a lot of podcasts I was able to listen to.
You didn't book him for our show?
I know, right? Oh, my gosh. So I did want to also have another little clip of like recent older Calvin talking about his experience finally out in the open in a news interview. And so this is him older, recalling his experience. I love his accent. I love the way he speaks. I'm kind of in love with him.
Oh, I love accents so much.
He's just so sweet and pure, and he needs to be my grandpa. But yeah,
little old Southern people, so cute.
So cute. Let's listen to Sweet Calvin.
There was an examination room, what I call it. And the old big ugly creature that brought me in, he took me and laid me on an examination table. And he just backed up out of the way. I couldn't move or anything. All I could do was look. And there was something about the size of a deck of cards that came out of the ceiling, and it hovered about a foot in front of my eyes. And then it went to the right side of my head, and it clicked. Went behind my head, and it clicked. Went to the left side of my head and clicked. And then straight to the front, and then it shot back up in the ceiling. And that's when I noticed some kind of little ruffling noise, and this more feminine-looking creature came out. She looked completely different than the what I call the robot, because he moved like a robot, just mechanical-wise. She looked kind of feminine-looking and had fingers, regular fingers, and all. Come over and pinched me on the side of the cheek. And then she took her finger and run down my throat and got behind that little thing that hangs down back there and tried to come up in my nasal cavity. And that was when it started hurting and I started choking and I got scared. And she just kind of telepathically told me, you know, don't be afraid, we're not going to hurt you.
He's so cute.
He's so cute. Mechanical wise. Little thing hanging down over the edge.
A dangly thing.
He's so adorable. But yeah, so that's why it's like back in the radar again, because he's coming out with it.
It all sounds the same as what you said, so
right?
Their stories are matching up.
Totally. And in 2019, a historical marker was placed at the exact spot of the riverbank where the abductions happened, calling it one of the best documented alien abductions.
That's Wild.
Yes. And because this historical marker came out, kind of like, I can understand how it makes like the city seem a bit more accepting of the story, you know, because everyone's, you know, worried that everyone's going to judge everyone, especially in this small town. So when that happened, there was a few others that came out of like the alien closet and reported that they too on that very same day witnessed something in the sky as a UFO.
Oh shit.
A lot of them also said it was the color blue. So that's trippy.
Ew. Ooh,
Yeah, very weird.
compelling.
Yeah, very compelling. Okay. And that actually made Calvin feel better because he's like, I feel a little less crazy.
Yeah, when you
Like-
have something corroborating.
Yeah, like he probably thought he was crazy for all these years keeping quiet, and it's just like probably such a release to get it out there, and then also have like and it's not like it's a small handful of people who like, yeah, I saw something on that day too. So anyways, he plans on telling his story for a little while, but then he wants to again live a very quiet life, and live on a houseboat with his wife. That's all he wants.
Oh.
So that's very sweet. Charlie nor Calvin ever really changed their story. Maybe some details were embellished. A lot of skeptical people call out Calvin because he at first was saying, oh, I passed out, I don't remember anything, you know, and I think he was telling that to the sheriffs as well, and then he comes out like, oh, I know information. So, you know, again, with these stories, I feel like it's, you believe it or not,
Yeah.
these men did not make much money at all. Calvin even said that he paid Charlie's like electric bill a few times.
Oh.
Because, you know, they're not getting rich off of this. So that's my only like, don't go after them, okay?
Yeah.
They're not making no money. All right.
Can't use that argument.
Can't use it. But that's all I got for this one.
That was so good.
I highly recommend watching a documentary I watched because it interviews the other UFO witnesses along with Calvin. I'll mention it in my notes for sure. But yeah, it was very good.
Yay. That was awesome.
Thanks.
Glad you did another alien story because those are just, they're so fun and like also mind trippy.
And funny and odd, weird.
Yeah,
love
man. I think that those robot things were maybe like their assistants. I'm going to say that because maybe.
Or like someone's like soldier. Like,
Yeah, because they would send them to the ground
yeah.
because it might be more dangerous, you know?
Yeah. And then like they're the ones administering like the injection while the female, go women, take care of the business. Even though she didn't do very good.
Or we don't know if she's a female.
That's also true. Just a totally different alien, which is very similar to like Travis Walton too. Remember, he saw the Greys and then he also saw like the Nordic
Oh, yeah.
aliens that was like more feminine. So there's similarities to both stories, but this one's also very different in ways too.
Well, did you hear that Mars rover touchdown? I think we have another
Yes.
Perseverance.
I watched it
You did?
on the news when it happened. I was cheering on with them.
Oh,
It's
so
fun.
cool.
Yeah, it's so cool.
Space news, like real life space news.
Real life space news.
And it's checking for previous life. Is that what's job?
Yeah.
I think.
They're going to a crater where they pretty sure there was water, so now they're looking for evidence of life.
Fun.
Holla!
Holla.
Go NASA. Go NASA.
Get your groove back. Oh, our space booze. All right. Should we do City of the Week?
Let's do it.
Play that jingle. What is it? Well, it's technically Eugene again. You guys have really been coming through. I think we have some new Eugene listeners.
Yeah, awesome. Hey.
Hi, love you. But in second place we have, I don't know how to pronounce this, so I apologize, but Leipzig, Germany.
Germany again.
Leipzig? Germany?
Sorry, we're white. We don't know how to.
I'm not
names.
German. But thank
Germany.
you. Yay! Thank you for listening.
That's twice Germany, right?
I know the Germany's been like into our podcast.
Oh my gosh! Hi.
Hi.
That's so cool.
It's so cool to have international listeners.
Yeah. So still so weird to think about.
I know my little voice over in Germany.
It seems so wrong.
I don't have anything else to say.
Good. No, I think we're just gonna leave it at that. Enjoy. Hope you have nightmares. Not really.
Oh, rude.
Oh.
We hope you have a good week. We'll catch you next week.
Yeah.
And
Is it okay? Question for you, Miss Abigail. Let me get this right. So if we do the episode, you want me to say the good up and good night, right? It's not like the vice versa.
Sure.
Do we even do the social medias? Did I miss that part?
Oh my gosh, we always forget social medias.
Balls.
You know what, guys? Look, we're working on it. Go on our website, anxiousandafraid.com. They go in the show notes. That's where we have our social medias, our Patreon. You know where we're at. We're on Instagram. It's all the same. Anxious and Afraid the pod. Same with the Gmail. Email us.
Please email us. We did get some emails this week.
We did, and we're gonna save them. We're gonna read them a little later. So don't worry about that.
Don't worry. We're not ignoring you.
We're not ignoring you.
You're special.
We see you and we hear you.
Yeah.
So we're gonna get ourselves organized soon. But yeah, we're on the internet. Google us. God, okay, you know I'm so over it.
We're on the internet. Google us. Okay.
I'm just gonna end it now then, because we're out. We're gonna be good up and good night.
Okay. Bye.
Okay, friends, I watched the Travel Channel's UFOs, The Lost Evidence, Season 2, Episode 3, Lights Out Podcast, Episode 40, But It Was Aliens Podcast, Episode 27, Behind the Obsidian Curtain Podcast, episode titled Calvin Parker, a 2020 documentary titled Alien Contact, the Pascagoula UFO Encounter on Amazon Prime, Wikipedia.com, WashingtonPost.com, ClarionLedger.com, SoundCloud, YouTube.com for the Fox 10 news clip. Music is by Broke for Free, Matt Edwards, and edited by Michael.
Anxious and Afraid is partnered with the Oracle Network.